Let's talk about how to find your early adopters. In the last video, we talked about two aspects of early adopters. We talked about what are they, and we talked about who yours are. If you haven't already watched that video, go back and watch it because it's fundamental that you understand the underlying principles of early adopters before you watch this video. So with that in mind, let's talk about where your early adopters are. To do that, we're going to recall that early adopters are your customers who have the problem you're trying to solve, know they have the problem you're trying to solve, and are actively seeking a solution to that problem. And it's this third piece, seeking a solution to the problem you're trying to solve, that's the secret to finding your early adopters. It's actually the secret to building your startup at all. Because if you can find people who are actively seeking a solution to the problem that you want to solve, this incredible marriage happens between both of your needs. You need them to build a business and they need you to solve their problem. And so you get to collaborate together. If, on the other hand, you're not able to find your early adopters, we know from the last video that means you're not going to be able to find your early majority, which means you're not going to be able to find your product market fit. If you're not able to find people who are actively seeking to solve the problem that you want to solve right now, that doesn't mean it's a bad idea. It just means the world isn't ready for your idea right now. Now's not the right time. So you can see that finding these early adopters, these people who are actively seeking to solve the problem, if we can find them now, this gives us incredible confidence that we can find product market fit if we build this company. Or it will give us incredible information to know that this isn't the right business to build. So let's ask ourselves the question, how do you find them? Well, we answer this question by answering two other questions. The first question is, where would someone who's seeking to solve this problem right now look for those solutions? So let me give you an example. Let's say we wanted to solve the problem that it's a pain to take a bike on a subway. You know, it's too crowded, you can't fit in there, you feel awkward about taking up so much space. Let's say that's the problem our startup wanted to solve. So we would ask ourselves, what are the behaviors of someone who is actively seeking a solution to that problem right now? If someone thought it was a pain to take their bike on the subway, where would they look for a solution to that problem right now? So some examples that we might come up with are, maybe they buy a folding bike, you know, one of these bikes that you can sort of fold up and it sort of looks like a briefcase. Or maybe they ride one of these mini bikes, you know, the bike that looks like a razor scooter with wheels, so they can easily throw it in their backpack when they get in the subway. Or maybe they're just asking advice of other people on forums about how they solve the problem. Or maybe they do something like they have their normal bike and they just wait for a largely empty subway car to come before they get on. And so they just let train after train go by during rush hour. So this list of behaviors is a great start, but we need something else before we can actually find these early adopters. Because just because someone buys a folding bike doesn't mean that you know how to reach out to them. Like, you don't have a list of everyone who's bought all the folding bikes. You also don't know why this person has bought a folding bike. It may have nothing to do with the subway at all. They may not just want to take a big heavy bike up a set of 3 flights of stairs when they go to work every day. It's critical that you actually talk to these people who are demonstrating these behaviors to see what problem they're actually trying to solve. It could be that this mini bike solves their problem entirely, and so they're not actually seeking a solution anymore at all. They may not even be early adopters. So that leads us to answer our second question, which is, how do you actually talk to these people? How do you have a conversation with them? How do you interview them? To answer that question, we're going to convert our solution-seeking behaviors into what we call externally observable behaviors. And by that we mean, all right, we started with this behavior that may indicate they're trying to solve a problem, but if we can turn that into a behavior that an external observer can see that they're still trying to solve this problem, then we've hit on something. Then we've probably found an early adopter. What if instead of targeting everyone who's bought a folding bike, we reach out to people who've left negative reviews about taking their folding bike on a subway on Amazon? right? If someone's leaving this kind of negative feedback, that means they're actively trying to solve this problem and they still haven't found a great solution for it. Or what if we found someone who was complaining about their mini bike on Twitter, right? If they said, it's such a pain to get my mini bike in my backpack when I hop on the bus or subway, then we know this person is actively trying to solve this problem and still hasn't found a great solution for it. Or what about someone who's posted on Reddit, seeking advice from other people about how to solve this problem? That means they self-identified as an early adopter. They're looking to solve this problem. Or we could go and hang out in the subway and see if bike riders actually wait for empty cars before getting on. In that case, we can just go up and have a conversation with those people to see what problem they're trying to solve. So you can start to see how this list of externally observable behaviors helps us answer the question, where do you find your early adopters? Because the answer is written within each of these behaviors. We find them on Amazon, on Twitter, on Reddit, in the subway. We find them in the places that they're trying to solve this problem. So once you write down the externally observable behaviors, the behaviors that you as an outsider can see that someone is taking to solve their problem, now you know where to find your early adopters. So when you're thinking about your early adopters, keep 3 things in mind. First, focus on the people who are seeking a solution to the problem right now. Second, ask yourself, what behaviors would these people demonstrate that tells you that they're seeking a solution to that problem? And third, when you write down those externally observable behaviors, you'll know exactly where to find your early adopters. Now, if you want some more practical help on figuring out who your early adopters are, so that you can answer the question, is the world ready for your company? And figure out how to talk to them once you've identified them, check out the second half of the adoption behavior curve. It's the 4th exercise in the focus framework, and it will tell you exactly who your early adopters are and what their externally observable behaviors are, so that you know where they are and how to reach out to them. All right, my friends, now you know how to find your early adopters. Go help them solve their problem.